We have some news just coming in. President Droupadi Murmu is flying a sortie today. This is the Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter aircraft. This is from Tezpur Air Force Station. In the year 2009, former President Pratibha Patil had flown in the frontline fighter aircraft. This time around, we have another woman president who is in fact doing this, President Murmu, flying the sortie in Sukhoi-30 today. These are pictures in fact coming in from Tezpur in Assam, where President Droupadi Murmu is all set to take the sortie on Sukhoi-30 MKI aircraft. This is the Tezpur Air Force Station in Assam. This is in fact the last day of her 3-day Assam visit. President Murmu undertaking her maiden flight at Sukhoi-30 MKI aircraft at Tezpur Air Force Station. The President has been received by the Chief of Eastern Command, Air Marshal S.P. Dharkar, Governor and also the Chief Minister are present at this occasion. Akshay Dongre is getting us more details. Akshay, not very frequently do you see the President in flying a sortie there. I think the last time around it happened with our President was former President Pratibha Patil when she had done it in the year 2009, isn't it?
Yeah, it was in 2009 when former President Pratibha Patil had flown in the frontline fighter aircraft. Now, if we talk about Sukhoi-30 MKI, it is considered one of the most important fighter jets in the military of the Indian Air Force. It is a multi-role aircraft, all-weather aircraft, and we have about 272 aircraft that we have imported from Russia. It forms the backbone of our Air Force and is considered a very, very advanced aircraft, a state-of-the-art technology that India possesses right now. And this is, in fact, a major symbolism as well by India, how the President herself is now going to take a sortie in the Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter aircraft. Now the sortie will take place from Tezpur Air Force Station, that is in Assam, and the program for which the President is in Northeast right now is the Gaj Utsav that in fact took place on 7th of April in now at Guwahati. Our President is also expected to flag off Mount Kanchenjunga Expedition 2023. So this is in fact a very proud moment. In fact, it is filling each and every Indian with a lot of pride, with the President herself taking flight in the Sukhoi-30 MKI aircraft. And this is happening at an Air Force station that is considered extremely important when we talk about our security apparatus. The Air Force station in Tezpur is very close to the borders with China. So clearly, that what we are seeing right now is India in fact, being with confidence, and the President herself is now, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of all the armed forces, herself now is taking a sortie in the Sukhoi-30 MKI. A short time from now, there will be a sortie which will take place for a few minutes, and then later the aircraft will be landing back at the Air Force Station. So a very, very momentous opportunity here for every Indian to watch their President fly in the Sukhoi-30 MKI. And this is in fact remarkable for all the men and women who serve our country in the uniform.
Well, absolutely remarkable. Also, notably, the second female head of the state to fly in a warplane, really. Akshay. Akshay, I was saying that she is the second female head of the state to fly in a warplane, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, Sneha. After former President Pratibha Patil, she took a sortie in the aircraft in 2009, and now President Droupadi Murmu is also taking a sortie. But everyone is also hoping that soon there will be time when the president will take a sortie in the indigenously made aircraft as well, where we have now Tejas that is already operational in the Indian Air Force. Then we are also expecting Tejas Mark II. That is in the development, that is expected to go into production lines very soon. Then we have TED-BF, AMCA, all of these aircraft that are being developed indigenously by the Indian Air Forces, by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, by DRDO, by indigenous firms. So soon we can also expect that there will be a time when the president will also take a sortie, will fly indigenously aircraft that also are some of the most advanced aircraft across the world. But for now, what we are seeing is the second head of the state taking a sortie in the Sukhoi-30 MKI. That now a very interesting fact here, Sneha, is also the fact that the Sukhoi-30 MKIs, when they were initially bought by India from Russia, initial batches were sent to India in complete form, but most of these aircraft were also assembled in India in the production lines of the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So somewhere we can also say that the journey that started towards indigenization about 20 to 25 years back, when we talk about the production lines being opened up and India in fact marching towards indigenization, this in fact is a remarkable movement for the forces, and clearly what we can expect is a message from the president herself about how she is also taking part in these events that are being organized by the forces, and clearly this is a remarkable moment for each and every one of us.
Well, she is in fact all set. These are pictures live on your screen right now where the president is all set to fly in the Sukhoi fighter jet. Right now, these pictures on your screen are live from Tezpur. Take us through the kind of arrangements that have been made. Also, the Chief Minister, the Governor in attendance. What more can you tell us about that also, Akshay?
Well, yes, the Chief Minister is there, the Governor is also present, and clearly the President, when she herself is taking part in such a momentous exercise, the entire security arrangements have been made, everything has already been checked, and it is not easy task to fly in an aircraft. It is not just that she will be, it's not like you sit in a normal aircraft. These aircrafts are very powerful. They have speeds, faster than sound. When we talk about Sukhoi-30 MKI, it has speed over 1.5 Mach, which is speed even higher than the speed of sound. So there is a lot of G-force as well. When the aircraft flies in air, there is a lot of toll on the body of the Air Force officials, Air Force fighters who fly these aircraft every day. So when the President herself takes part in such an exercise, it also gives a lot of boost in the confidence of the airmen, the officers and the personnel of the Indian Air Force who serve at the front lines, who fly these aircraft, who maintain these aircraft, not just the fighters who in fact fighter pilots who in fact are the face of the Indian Air Force, but it is also the ground crew, the maintenance crew who also at the back end.
Okay, I'll just come back to you in a moment from now. Akshay, be with us. Let's listen in to what's really happening as far as Tezpur and the Prime Minister and the President's maiden flight is concerned.
अगर लंबे समय में भी देखें तो मेक इन इंडिया की पहल को अगर आप देखें कि किस तरीके से हम आत्मनिर्भर बने, ये सारी पहल जो है वो बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से आगे बढ़ रही है। और ऐसे में जब तीनों सेनाओं की सुप्रीम कमांडर अगर हमारे जो मेन फाइटर जेट है Sukhoi-30 MKI, उसमें अगर उड़ान भरते हैं तो ये एक बहुत सुखद अनुभव रहता है, एक बेहतरीन सुकून देने वाला एक गर्व का क्षण होता है कि हमारी जो तीनों सेनाओं की सुप्रीम कमांडर हैं वो एक बेहतरीन उदाहरण जवानों के सामने पेश कर रही हैं कि देखिए भारत जो हमारी जो सरकार है वो सेना के साथ खड़ी हुई है। चाहे किसी भी परिस्थिति की बात हो, चाहे कोई भी चीज हो, आपकी समस्याओं में हम हमेशा आपके साथ भागीदार हैं। और अगर आपको किसी तरह की जरूरत भी पड़ती है तो उसमें लगातार सरकार उनके साथ आगे बढ़ रही है। ये एक खास मायने रहता है कि और जब यहाँ खास बात और है गौरव, जब यहाँ वो पहुंची होंगी और जो यहाँ का एयर क्रू होगा और जो कई सारे पर्सनल होंगे उनसे उन्होंने जो बातचीत की होगी उसके बारे में भी उन्होंने जाना होगा कि आखिर किस तरह की समस्याएं रहती है, किस तरह का एक जो क्रिटिकल पॉइंट रहता है जब आप किसी फाइटर जेट में उड़ान भरते हैं तो किस तरह की क्रिटिकलिटी रहती है, किस तरह की जो समस्याएं आती हैं, किस तरह से आप इनसे आगे निकलते हैं, ये सबको जाना होगा। ये अपने आप में खासा मायने होगा क्योंकि गौरव इसके लिए ट्रेनिंग जो होती है खासतौर पर अगर फाइटर पायलट की अगर हम बात करें तो एक ट्रेनिंग शेड्यूल बहुत बेहतरीन किस्म का होता है। इसमें आपको न केवल फिजिकली बहुत ज्यादा फिट होना होता है बल्कि मेंटली भी बहुत ज्यादा फिट होना पड़ता है क्योंकि कई सारे डिसीजंस, कई सारी चीजें आपको एक साथ करनी पड़ती हैं और बहुत कम समय में बहुत बेहतरीन तरीके से उनको परफॉर्म करना होता है। तो ये सारी चीजें जब राष्ट्रपति सुखोई 30 MKI में होंगी तो ये भी समझ सकेंगे कि आखिर हमारे जो पायलट है वो वैश्विक स्तर पर सबसे बेहतरीन माने जाते हैं, सबसे बेहतर माने जाते हैं। उसको भी देखेंगे कि आखिर किस तरीके से वो अपने जो काम है उनको अंजाम देते हैं। और एक चीज और जो मैंने खासतौर पर बात कही कि ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स जब भी आप फाइटर जेट में उड़ान भरते हैं तो जो ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स है वो काम करता है, वो बॉडी में किस तरीके से काम करता है वो उसका भी उनको अनुभव होगा। और फाइटर पायलट तो उनको इनकी ट्रेनिंग लगातार दी जाती है कि आखिर इससे किस तरीके से वो निपटे, किस तरीके से इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए जो अपना उड़ान का जो सुचारू रूप से संचालन है वो किस तरीके से किया जाए, ये अपने आप में रहता है। और बिल्कुल खास तौर पर जिस तरीके से मैंने शुरुआत में कहा कि गौरव एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण, एक गौरवपूर्ण क्षण जब हमारी तीनों सेना की सुप्रीम कमांडर जो वो है वो सुखोई 30 MKI में उड़ान भर रही हैं, वो एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण है न केवल देश के लिए बल्कि सेनाओं के लिए। पूरी दुनिया में एक ये साफ तौर पर ये दिखाता है किस तरीके से जो भारत की लीडरशिप
ठीक है सुधीर, आप बने रहिए।
The President is all set to fly in Sukhoi-30. This is a maiden flight. In the year 2009, former President Pratibha Patil had flown in the frontline fighter aircraft. Akshay continues to be with us. Akshay, in fact, you were taking us through the challenges in flying the Sukhoi fighter jet here. You were telling us about how this by no yardstick is an easy feat.
Well, absolutely, it is no easy feat. It is not that you just wear a jumpsuit, hop into the aircraft, and then a pilot will just fly it. You know, you have to be, as we were listening to the experts, you have to be extremely fit when it comes to mental fitness, when it comes to physical fitness. You have to be in that state to fly in any aircraft, especially an aircraft like Sukhoi-30 MKI. Now, if we talk about the specifications of the Sukhoi-30 MKI, it was manufactured. It has been manufactured by Russia. There are several variants of this aircraft. This is a 4th plus generation fighter aircraft and has a speed very, very high. In fact, if we talk in the kilometers per hour speed, it has over 2,000 kilometers per hour top speed. When we talk about the radius of this aircraft, it is also quite high. Weapon loading capacity is also high of Sukhoi-30 MKI. This is a twin-seater aircraft, which means that there is a pilot, then there is a gunner. So the president is right now sitting where a gunner usually sits, and this aircraft, which is a supersonic aircraft, which has speed higher than the speed of sound, it is a momentous task for anybody to be part of such a drill. Pratibha Patil, yes, she sat in the Sukhoi-30 MKI, and this is for the second time that the president is actually, the female head of our country is actually sitting in an aircraft. But it is also a huge symbol, huge signaling to all the men and women in the uniform, not just the Air Force. For that matter, that the president, the supreme commander of all the armed forces, is also taking part in an exercise that is conducted every day by the officers and the personnel of our armed forces. Sneha, also very important is the location, the strategic location of Tezpur Air Base. It is one of the frontline air bases near the borders with China. We have been seeing that there have been attempts by China to, threaten the boundaries there. We have recently seen that how China has tried to change the status quo. They named 11 locations in Arunachal Pradesh. So now President of India herself sitting in an aircraft, especially at an Air Force base that is very close to the borders with China. This is a huge signaling from India that India will not bow down to any threats, to any attempts by any country to threaten the sovereignty and the integrity of our country. This is also a huge message to all the girls who aspire to, don the uniform, who aspire to be part of the armed forces, and especially with the recent changes that have been made, especially in the Air Force, where now female officers are also allowed to fly the aircraft, fly helicopters in the Agniveer scheme as well. We are seeing that now girls can also take part and be part of the armed forces. This especially is a movement where every person of every citizen is being with pride, is filled with pride, looking at their president herself sitting in the Sukhoi-30 MKI aircraft and from the Tezpur Air Base. Now, as we were mentioning that while we have a quest to have all the important military equipment made in India. When we talk about Make in India, yes, there is also a question that soon now, after this particular exercise, there will be a time very soon when the President will also take a sortie in the homegrown, homemade, indigenous aircraft, Tejas as well. And the other aircraft that are being developed. Soon there will be a moment when the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces takes a sortie and takes part of the drills that are conducted in the indigenous aircraft too. Neha?
Well, absolutely. Pictures on your screen right now are of the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces, President Droupadi Murmu, all set to take off. In how many moments do we see her actually fly that sortie, Akshay?
Well, it takes time, Sneha. All the flaps, all the engines, everything from weapon bay to all the flaps, all the engines, they all have to be checked. Because, when we talk about an aircraft carrier, it is a very delicate, it is a very, complicated machine. Where there are thousands of parts, each part has a specific use, and all the parts must be in perfect condition before anybody flies these aircrafts, and that is why the checks that take place usually take a lot of time. But now that the President herself is in the cockpit and everything has been prepared before the entire sortie exercise was to be started, it seems that shortly, when the pilot is ready, all the checks are done, everything is in perfect condition, the flight will take off. But it usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes when the pilots actually sit in the aircraft and before the aircraft can take off. But it is going to be, we can tell our viewers that it is going to be a magnificent moment once the engines start and the Sukhoi-30 MKI starts roaring and starts to take off from the Tezpur Air Base, and when the sortie begins in Assam and in the neighboring areas where the trajectory of the aircraft has been planned.
Getting in all the details, even as the President is making the required, in fact, arrangements, preparations on before the President takes off in the sortie. This is the Sukhoi-30 MKI. The President is all set to fly in Sukhoi fighter jet. For our viewers who just joined us, Akshay in fact is talking us through what really is expected and the significance of this, given that Akshay, President Droupadi Murmu is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces in the country.
Well, absolutely, Sneha. Now the visuals that we are seeing, the pilot is already in cockpit. All the other crews that are part of the ground maintenance, as well as the other crews of the Indian Air Force, they are making all the necessary arrangements. Once there is a thumbs up and once the cockpit closes, the engines will start, and then we can expect the fighter aircraft to start. And also very interestingly, you can see the helmet that is specially designed for missions. Droupadi Murmu, our president, is already wearing it. She is already in the uniform, the jumpsuit that is worn by the Air Force pilots. So it is already a very beautiful sight to see that the Sukhoi-30 MKI is all set there. The Supreme Commander of our armed forces is sitting inside the aircraft, and also we can see right now, Sneha, that a lady officer of the Indian Air Force is also taking stock of the situation, making sure that all the arrangements are in place. It is a momentous opportunity for all the Air Force personnel there at Tezpur Air Force to ensure that everything is fine. Also, the helmet has been worn properly. The lid has been closed off the helmet as well. And in a short while now, Sneha, we will be watching the aircraft engine start and the sortie to begin.
The sortie is to begin in moments from now, is what Akshay is in fact telling us. These are pictures coming in of the president all set to fly Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter aircraft today. Remember, not very often do you see, in fact, female heads of state to fly in a warplane. Remember, this was done previously by President Pratibha Patil, who had Akshay taken up from Pune Air Force Base, isn't it? In a frontline Sukhoi-30 MKI.
Well, yes, Sneha, these aircrafts are deployed at all the major airport stations. As we were talking about the relevance and the significance of Sukhoi-30 MKIs, I in the MKI stands for India. This is a specific variant developed by Russia for export to India, and there are several changes that have been made keeping in view the specific requirements of the Indian Air Force. It is a twin-seater aircraft, one of the best aircraft that are available in the world. When you talk about the maneuverability of this aircraft, it ranks among one of the best aircraft in the world in terms of dogfights that usually take place between aircraft. This is a very agile aircraft, a very, very reliable aircraft, and that is why there has been an attempt by the Indian Air Force to in fact develop this aircraft into a project that is known as Super Sukhoi. So some more changes are required by the Indian Air Force to in fact further increase the strength of this particular aircraft so that it can match up to the best aircraft that are available in the world. Interestingly, we also have several programs that are going on. We already have indigenously built fourth generation aircraft, fourth plus generation aircraft, and now we are also expected to have fifth generation aircraft, some of the best that are available in the world. That is a program that is known as AMC, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, that's being developed by the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited, the ADA, as well as the DRDO. So all these top agencies are right now working, in the best of their capabilities to develop best aircraft. Because when we talk about a war-like situation, when we talk about a situation of a conflict, aircrafts are considered the best and the most lethal piece of machinery that are there in the arsenal of any armed force. So that is why this is in fact a huge movement for everyone who is part of the armed forces, or for that matter everyone who is interested or rather in these beautiful machines. So Sneha, now
Be with us.
we
Just
can
coming back to you in a few seconds from now, Akshay. President any second from now is going to take off. This is her maiden flight. President Droupadi Murmu on board Sukhoi-30 MKI right now. These are visuals live on your screen. Seconds from now, the President is in fact going to be undertaking that flight the last time around. A female head of the state did it was in the year 2009 when former President Pratibha Patil had taken off from the Pune Air Force base in a frontline Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter jet in 2009. I'll try and go back to Akshay in a few moments from now. But these are live pictures on your screen of the President who's all set to take off now.
Well, Sneha, what we are seeing now is the arrangements that are done very shortly before the aircraft takes off. All the maintenance crews have checked everything. The cockpit is still open. So you can see now the flaps are moving. These are being checked. These are usually checked before any aircraft takes off. Talking about the moving part of the aircraft, these are called horizontal stabilizers. Then there is a check of the vertical stabilizers. There is a check of the flaps. There is a check of the engines. There is a check of the landing gear. So everything is checked. The cockpit will close shortly after all these checks are done, and then there will be a movement in the aircraft. The aircraft will start moving, going to the runway, and after that we can expect the aircraft to start soaring into the skies. Now the cockpit has closed, Sneha, as you can see, and short while from now the aircraft will in fact start moving on the runway. The brakes have been removed from the landing gear. And that you have the President sitting in the Sukhoi-30 MKI aircraft. Everything is done, it seems. Everything is in perfect condition. The vertical, the horizontal stabilizers are fine. The flaps have also been checked. So everything is in perfect shape, it seems. And a short while from now, the aircraft will also start moving, because that is one movement everyone is now waiting for. The engines have started. There you can see the sound increasing of the aircraft, and in a bit the aircraft will start moving out of the hangar where it is kept. So there, this is going to be very, very spectacular moment, Sneha, because it is not every day that we see the Supreme Commander of our armed forces sitting in an aircraft aircraft and taking a sortie with the Air Force personnel. Now, there you have it. Sukhoi-30 MKI has started to move, and it has started to come out of the hangar. It will go on the runway, and there we will see a sortie take place of the Sukhoi-30 MKI. There, all the arrangements, everything is in perfect condition, it seems, and everyone is now just waiting for the aircraft to increase its speed, and the aircraft will actually start moving in a bit from now. It has started to move on the runway. Move in Sukhoi-30 MKI, and the flaps are also being checked. The horizontal as well as the vertical stabilizers are being checked. Everything has been prepared. The engines have started. The aircraft is now moving, and we are shortly going to see the spectacular display of the Sukhoi-30 MKI, in which the President is also sitting and will be taking a sortie with the fighter pilot that is in fact flying this particular aircraft.
So these are visuals live on your screen right now of the President taking off in the Sukhoi-30 MKI. Akshay continues to be with us, taking us through all of those pictures. Akshay, over to you.
Well, Sneha, it is a very complicated procedure. So, as the President is also flying today, and we all get to watch this entire, exercise from the start of the aircraft to how it flies and how it lands. Everything is done in a very particular manner. The fighter aircraft has started to move on the runway, and it will take off in a short while from now. There we can also see the flag of India on the vertical stabilizer. So usually that is a sign. But also with all of this exercise, what we are seeing, the procedure. This is the usual procedure, Sneha. Every day when our Air Force pilots fly these delicate machines, fly these complicated machines that are also extremely lethal in any war situation. This is the entire procedure that they go through, from check of the aircraft, from check of the landing gear to all the parts of the aircraft, to all the machines of the aircraft. It's not just the hardware, it is also the software of these machines that are extremely important when it comes to flying these aircraft. So this is the entire procedure that the pilots go through. It's not an easy task really to fly an aircraft, to fly a fighter aircraft. And if you talk about the selection procedure of the pilots in the Indian Air Force, very interesting, they would like to share with our viewers as well that if you want to become a fighter aircraft, you have to go through a test that is called PABT, which is Pilot Aptitude Battery Test, that you can only give once in your lifetime. So if you pass that test, you can fly an aircraft. If you fail that test, you never get another opportunity to go through that test again. So only a select few get a chance to actually fly these aircraft. These are the best of the best who get to fly these machines. And even after you in fact enroll in the Air Force academies and clear the PABT test, to actually get to fly these fighter aircraft, you have to be among the best from the lot. So that is, the entire procedure of how aircraft pilots are chosen, how they are selected, and that is how rigorous the entire procedure is. There are multiple checks that take place, so it's not an easy task to fly these aircraft. These are very costly, very, very complicated machines, and it requires a lot of mental as well as, hard mental stability as well as a state of mind that is required to fly these aircraft because at a speed of over 2,000 kilometers per hour in the sky, flying these machines that are loaded with fuel, that are loaded with weapons, it's not an easy task that can be conducted by anybody. So that is why this is a very, very rigorous task, and the President herself flying in the aircraft certainly is going to pique a lot of interest in how to become a fighter aircraft pilot, as well as how to serve the Indian Air Force as well as other armed forces, with the Supreme Commander of our armed forces herself taking part and taking interest in these exercises. So after Pratibha Patil, second head of state, who is a woman, taking part in these exercises, clearly is going to boost a lot of confidence of our armed forces as well as for every citizen of our country. Sneha?
Undoubtedly. What a proud moment there with the President now, any time now on air. In fact, she is undertaking her maiden flight. This is a Sukhoi-30 MKI, a warplane, which the President is going to take off in right now, any second. For our viewers, this is not something that you get to see very often. Akshay, we were talking about the fact that she in fact is the second female head of the state to do so in the last few years or so. The last time it was done was in the year 2009.
Well, exactly, and that is the reason there is a lot of interest in this particular exercise that's being conducted by the Indian Air Force at Tezpur Air Force Base, that is in the northeast. That is in fact considered one of the most important Air Force bases that are at the borders with China. And clearly, with there are attempts that have been made by China to change the status quo. We were talking about how China tried to change names of 11 locations in Arunachal Pradesh. The President herself, not directly but indirectly, giving a message that the Supreme Commander of the Indian Air Force, of the Indian Armed Forces, is herself taking a sortie in the very backyard of China, and now President herself sitting in one of the most lethal aircraft that is in the inventory of the Indian Air Force. She's in fact this entire exercise will in fact boost the confidence of the Air Force as well as the Armed Forces personnel who serve our country every day. now again that you can see the aircraft has started to slowly move, come in the exact position from where it will take off. The engines as well as the thrusters, it will reach a certain age, a certain level that is required for the jump start of the aircraft. A certain level of thrust is achieved before the fighter takes off. It's not like a regular aircraft that starts running on the runway and then it gradually takes off. These kind of aircraft need a certain level of power that they attain before the takeoff begins. Because of the fact that the President herself is taking a sortie, each and every move is being monitored, each and everything is being meticulously checked. The engines, the flaps, everything is checked multiple times. That is usually the modus operandi of the Indian Air Force when it comes to these aircraft. Everything is checked, a certain level of power is attained, and then in a short while from now, in just a few seconds, we will see the aircraft taking off on the runway and roaring into the sky. These are very, very powerful machines, Sneha. And now there you have it. The aircraft has now started to move, and you can see now the speed that has been attained in just a few seconds. It's spectacular. And there you have it, the Sukhoi-30 MKI running on the runway at a very high speed and taking to the sky with glory. That is also the motto of the Indian Air Force. There, President Droupadi Murmu in Sukhoi-30 MKI into the sky on board the Sukhoi-30 MKI. There will be a sortie which will be conducted now, and after that the aircraft will gain land. So it is very, very meticulously prepared course. The entire exercise is going to be extremely beautiful when it comes to the visuals, and there the aircraft has already taken to the skies, and soon in a few minutes the aircraft will conduct its sortie and come back to the Air Force Base.
What a moment there, with the President undertaking her maiden flight on board the Sukhoi-30 MKI. Also, Akshay, even as the President is in fact on air right now, I just want to get a sense from you about this particular fighter jet, about Sukhoi-30 MKI, which is of course a variant of the Sukhoi Su-30, a heavy all-weather long-ranger flight.
Well, yes, absolutely, Sneha. This is in fact considered one of the most potent fighter aircraft that is in the inventory of the Indian Air Force. It is a twin-jet multi-role air superiority fighter. It was developed by Russia's Sukhoi, and it was built under license by India's Hindustan Aeronautic Limited for the Indian Air Force. This is a variant of Sukhoi-30. Yes, you have rightly mentioned that this is a heavy all-weather long-range fighter. Now, when we talk about all-weather, it means that this aircraft can conduct exercises as well as missions in every kind of weather. So be it rains, be it heat, be it cold, this aircraft is capable enough to conduct missions in each and every weather condition. It is a long-range aircraft. It has a huge range when it comes to the operations. The number of the numbers that have been built of this variant of Sukhoi-30 is 272. All of these have been developed for India. So this in fact is one of the most potent aircraft. Even after decades of its development, it is considered one of the most advanced aircraft to be possessed by any air force. In fact, when we talk about Sukhoi-30 MKI specifically, a lot of changes into the radars, weapon sections have been made that suit the requirements of the Indian Air Force. This is a spectacular moment for each and every one of us to see our President being part of this sortie exercise that's been conducted at the Tezpur Air Base.
President Droupadi Murmu undertaking her maiden flight on board, in fact, Su-30 MKI. This is flying a sortie essentially. This is the Tezpur Air Base from where we're getting these pictures on your screen right now. Sukhoi-30 MKI taking off with President Droupadi Murmu on board. She is the second female head of the state to fly in a warplane after former President Pratibha Patil had taken off from the Pune Air Force Base in a frontline Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter jet in the year 2009. Akshay, the difficulties of being able to fly in a warplane essentially, and that too a Sukhoi-30 MKI. We're talking about the difficulties and about the fitness of the individual. It isn't an easy feat, is what you said.
Well, absolutely, Sneha. In fact, when we talk about this particular aircraft, the Sukhoi-30 MKI, the G limit is somewhere around 9, which means that it is 9 times the gravity of Earth, which means if an object, for example, weighs 1,000 kgs, at 9G, it will be much heavier. The entire body takes a lot of toll when we talk about the gravity is concerned, because there is a lot of force that gets applied to the body, and in that force a pilot has to take, very calculated decisions. There are dogfights when you are in a war-like situation in an aircraft. You have to also look at the radar, apply your mind that where exactly the enemy can come from, because the enemy also may have a supersonic aircraft. There is weapon locking, there is attacks coming in from the ground, from the air. So you have to, while fly the aircraft, you also have to attack the enemies. So in that G-force, when your body is already taking a lot of toll, when your mind is already taking a lot of toll, you also have to ensure the safety of your crew, the safety of the aircraft, and the safety of your crews on the ground by attacking the enemy establishment when there is a war-like situation. So that is why it is extremely difficult to fly an aircraft like this. But if we talk about the specifications of this aircraft, as we were talking, so it has a maximum speed of somewhere around 2,120 kilometers per hour. That is Mach 2 speed. That is, in fact, twice the speed of sound. The range, as it is a long-range aircraft, it has a range of somewhere around 3,000 kilometers. At high altitude, so which means that for up to 3,000 kilometers, which is a huge distance, this aircraft can actually operate. When we talk about the other specifications of this aircraft, it also has the capability to get refueled in air, which means that if it gets refueled in air, its ferry range increases to somewhere around 8,000 kilometers, which means that it can operate to, or it can actually fly to almost any part of the world. Which means that if we also have to fly to one of the distant part of the globe, this aircraft can actually fly to that part by getting refueled mid-air itself. So no need to land. You can reach any part of the world in this aircraft by just getting a couple of in-flight refuelings. The service ceiling of this aircraft is somewhere around 17,000 meters, which means that up to 17 kilometers in altitude, this aircraft can fly. It has a rate of climb of 300 meters per second. So all of these specifications of this aircraft make it one of the most lethal aircraft that is in the arsenal of the Indian Air Force. Yes, it is a 4.5 generation aircraft, but also there are attempts that have been made, as we were mentioning earlier, to make this aircraft a super Sukhoi, which means that at par with the best aircraft that are operational in the world. That is the goal of the Indian Air Force, along with already the operations that are going on to develop our indigenous aircraft, including the 5th generation aircraft that we are building for our Indian Air Force. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Also, Akshay, the messaging as far as the Commander-in-Chief of India's Armed Forces has in fact taken this sortie today.
Well, there is a clear messaging here that we will not be bullied by any nation in the world, be it China, be it Pakistan. So while we have been seeing that there have been constant threats coming in from China, be it verbal threats or be it actions by the Chinese government, and the most recent being the attempt by China to rename 11 locations. That was arbitrarily done by the Chinese government. They changed 11 locations of a state of our country. That was in fact a clear messaging from China that while they talk peace, they talk nice things, the real intention is something else. We have also seen that near the LAC, China has been rapidly building infrastructure. They have been building air bases. We have also seen near Ladakh, near Leh, that there our deployment of J-20, the fifth generation aircraft. So in a way, these have been attempts by China to somewhere bully India, somewhere threaten India's sovereignty, our integrity. So the supreme commander of our armed forces taking off in one of the most high-tech, one of the most elegant as well as state-of-the-art aircraft from an airbase that is considered as the frontline airbase when it comes to the bordering areas with China. This is a clear messaging that India is not the India that was. That in fact there was attempt by China to bully us earlier, but now things have changed. Now the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces herself is flying with the pilots of the Indian Air Force, and clearly no attempts by China or for that matter any country will be taken lightly, and India can always give a befitting replies when it comes to strengthening our armed forces as well as when it comes to safeguarding our sovereignty, our integrity, and our territorial boundaries. So this in fact is a clear messaging by the President herself today as she takes off in the Sukhoi-30 MKI from the Tezpur Air Base.
Akshay, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting us those details, even as we're staying with those pictures of President Droupadi Murmu flying a sortie, the Sukhoi-30 MKI fighter aircraft. These are pictures on your screen of the President, in fact, taking off a few seconds ago.